So, thank you very much for joining us again for this edition of Learning from the Top. Today, I'm very happy to host this conversation with the top active FIVB referee and president of the Polish Referee Commission, Mr. Wojciech Maroszek. Thank you very much for being with us, Wojciech.
Hey, everybody. Of course, thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, I hope all of you are fine, in good health, avoiding all the virus problem. Of course, we are all infected by the situation, and I miss you guys, all of you, and I miss those who I haven't met yet, but I miss the chance to meet you. So I really hope this 2020 is the last year of the problem, and as soon as possible, we'll be back on courts and we'll meet you for real, not only through internet. And there is a very important statement from my side before we start. I truly do not consider myself as a top referee. I know I'm a newcomer into the group. Of course, I had the chance to referee nice matches at very high level, but I still remember where my place in the line is, and I can see even here on the screen faces of people who are so much more experienced, and I learned from you instead of the other way around. And Roy had to persuade me for a longer time to make me to join the meeting. Thank you, Roy, and I hope the interrogation really won't be a big torture.
Well, no excuses, please. No excuses. It's going to be tough. I'm going to be very strict with you. But of course, it's my pleasure. I want to try with these sessions to bring a lot of point of views from all referees who are experienced, and to use that for inspiring young referees for their career, maybe to hear, to learn, to use for their way of going up in the scales. First, how did you come into volleyball? What is your first recollection? What is your first recall of volleyball in your life?
So obviously I started by playing volleyball, and volleyball really was my favorite group sport. Even though at the time when I was a teenager, it was basketball very popular in Poland. Let's not speak about football or soccer,
of course.
Some of you prefer, because on public TV we could watch NBA matches at the time, while for volleyball we could watch one game every year, which was the final game of Polish championship. So I started to play volleyball, but it's true that very soon I was taken by athletics, and I even joined national junior team in athletics. So my body was prepared for another sport. This is how it is. Of course, then I played again in friendly games, in amateur competition here in my town. My sister, though, 1 year younger than me, she was, for a moment, she was even playing in one of the top clubs in Poland. So we had always contact with volleyball, and me, when I was 19, I became a coach. I ran a youth team, girls. It was big fun for more than 2 years. In my region, we took 5th spot, and trust me, it's not bad. Wow. Because my region is the strongest region, volleyball region in the whole country. It's about 1/10 of volleyball in Poland. It's placed here in Silesia. And I hope one day I'll be back to have fun with kids, to teach them how to play. And of course, at the same time, I became referee. So I started as soon as I could, the other than playing contact with volleyball.
Okay. How did you, what pushed you to be a referee? I mean, you said you were a coach and you were a player. So why refereeing? What did this specific thing catch you to continue and to pursue to become a top referee?
To be honest, I think it all started by this moment when I knew that I want to play in a regular competition. and I still wanted to have contact with volleyball. And I can tell you that it's still motivation of many people who join us in basic refereeing courses in Poland, that they simply want to stay in touch with the discipline that they simply like. Of course, nowadays we have more chances to have a very interesting adventure with volleyball as a referee. For example, being a line judge for VNL match, for national team match. So this is something extra. At the time when me and my friends, we started to referee, it was more like still having contact with the favorite discipline.
Okay. As you became a top referee, as you went through the stages and everything, who were the role models for you? Who are the ones that you can, the names and the people that you can remember that were, you learned from them the most, or they helped you the most? Some names that you can give us.
Well, it would take probably this whole hour to name the list. Let me just mention a few. And I'm very happy to see here Mr. Tom Blue. It was 2001, as I remember, when suddenly, by specific situation, and you want to believe it, I became member of a refereeing subcommittee during World Junior Championship played in Poland. So I was like 27, and I was supposed to evaluate international referees who came to the tournament. It's very specific. It was a consequence of the situation in Polish Federation. And Mr. Tom Blue agreed to take me under his wings. So of course, I did not evaluate anyone, that's obvious. But I had a great opportunity to listen to his remarks, to watch the best referees at the time in Wrocław and Opole. And Mr. Blue, you know, I'm really, I really liked the time, and I really learned a lot. So first of all, as I see you here in good health, and I'm very happy for that, I'd like to thank you. Another person from the commissions, for example, is Laszlo Herpai from Hungary, with whom I started cooperation also in early 2000s, asking his questions or sending him videos. We have this very unique chance in Poland, and I will always underline this, to have very good competition, to have a professional league for many years now, and to have a very, very good broadcaster. Some say the best broadcaster, TV broadcaster in volleyball ever, Polsa. So for us, it's a chance, amongst others, to collect interesting educational videos. So with every question that I had, I could direct it to Mr. Herpai, and you can see now in video casebook that more and more videos from Poland are being used. Then I would mention Juraj Mokry. Juraj Mokry, whom I met, I think, 2002, again in Poland when I was one of the scorers during Youth European Championship. And then came the young Slovakian referee, so talented, so skilled, and I'm very happy to feel that I'm his friend for so many years. But it was a very good chance again to observe a young referee. And you know, we have this, we can see this situation, and younger referees always have problem to build the authority. People who are advanced to a new category of refereeing, they first 2-3 years, they have to wait till their faces are familiar for the players, till they can gain the authority. Ladies have their own problem. So I could watch Juraj, how he works his way during the matches and through his career. Yeah, so if you don't want me to speak the whole hour, then
no, that's okay. But from what I understand, then is what you recommend to young referees or to ones who want to learn and to go up and see things, is to go to the court and see other referees or talk to professional referees or top referees and to try to learn from them. It's not enough just to read the rule book or to watch a match, but also to be involved with the referees.
Yes, this is very important, but there is no universal way, because you can either have a more experienced partner who will lead you through the way, or you may simply watch other referees and maybe you have a chance just to ask questions, why you choose this, why you took this decision, you behave that way. But to be honest, for me, the most important thing is self-evaluation. And I could see so many examples so far that people who are unable to be honest with themselves, to rethink the game, rethink their own refereeing, and sometimes for their own, name the bad things that they did and why they did it. They don't develop very much. If you deny your mistakes, if you deny sometimes criticism from outside, telling you, use your smile better, behave more friendly, etc., etc., then you won't develop and you won't go up. And I think this is also the idea partly behind referee coaches that we'll probably also speak during this meeting.
You're also the chairman of the Polish Refereeing Commission. For how long it's already that you're the chairman?
Well, I should have finished my first term, which is 4 years. The elections we had in April or May 2016. But the term is prolonged because of COVID.
Okay, of course. It's very for me it's very unusual to see, first of all, a chairman of the refereeing commission which is still an active referee, a young chairman, it's still a young active referee, and in even more in the Polish federation, which is considered a strong federation, which a very strong volleyball that has a lot of influence and power. Like you said, you have the television coverage and everything. Can you tell us about it, about you becoming the chairman a bit?
Sure. At the moment when I became the president, it might have been maybe the first case or maybe the best known case. But let us remember that now we have the same situation in Serbia, we have the same situation in the USA. So it's no more a unique thing. Now, what happened in Poland? The president of refereeing commission is being elected by national level referees. So it's a group of about 250 voters. And the largest group among them are those from the second division, which is the third level of competition in Poland. And those people really demanded a change, a big change. And just to tell you, there were two candidates and both of us are international active referees. So there was really a big demand to have a general change in the commission. And of course, I won. I mean, the other candidate decided not to run till the end. So then I was the only one, the only candidate. But I also, I made the changes, of course, but I also respect this natural way of having people more experienced and all generations as possible. So, for example, my vice president is Mr. Grzegorz Jacyna, which maybe you know, ex-member of FIVB Refereeing Commission and current member of CVV Refereeing Commission. Yeah. So it's not like revolution, burning old things on piles, but the change so it was like a response to a need for a change. Okay. Let's get a little bit more specific about the matches and the procedures that you have. First of all, you whistled the top matches in almost all categories besides the Olympics, which you are nominated for. And if we didn't have the COVID, so now you would be there probably the closing ceremony. I think it was supposed to be today. Roy, I would tell you exactly that at this time I would be on the flight back home because it was a reminder in my mobile today. So I'll be on the plane, right?
But you did whistle World Championships and Continental Finals and everything. Today, when you receive a nomination and you go up the chair, are you still excited? Are you nervous? Or you say to yourself, okay, I've done it, it's another job, yada, yada?
Yes, excited and nervous.
Mm.
And to be honest, I hope it will stay with me till the end. And I honestly will tell you that it happened once in my life that I, after some maybe tough matches in Polish Liga or maybe even after international competition, I went to a youth match in my region. And yes, I probably felt so sure of myself. I didn't spend a second preparing myself psychologically to the game. And of course, after first set, I had to shake myself and no, Wojtek, let's go back because this is not the way this match might be run, might be led. So still excited, still under some stress. But what I hear from those who observe me, who evaluate me, that probably I'm a very good actor, because they say that one of my advantages is that I really look calm. I don't let it show outside. So my moves are calm, and I know when to use smile, how to try to run the game smoothly and friendly. But to be honest, inside, yes, in every match there is this adrenaline that brings some nerves.
It's a common thing that comes back. Also, I talked about that. He said that you can be very emotional inside, you can be very nervous, but you have to play outside to be a good actor, not to show, not to express it. So they won't put any pressure or any impact on the match because they see that the referee is nervous or is not calm or not sure. You have to be almost like a poker face for that.
Maybe because, Roy, by the way, you should always congratulate you on all those interviews. And for example, we could hear it in the talk with Vital Heinen. Told us that there are referees who can demonstrate that they are good referees or very good referees, even if they are really not.
Yeah.
So this acting, which comes, of course, also from players, also from coaches, but it's very important also for us to build the image of someone who knows what he's doing and has everything under control.
Well, I do these interviews so good because probably I'm not such a good referee, so better to find another, to be like a referee journalist or something. When you receive, before you receive even the nomination, do you have a bag ready in the closet? Do you prepare yourself professionally before the match, even before the nomination? Do you read the rules on a regular basis, the guidelines?
So of course I have contact with volleyball all year round. That's true, but there are things that help me to this. So except for this year, last years are very active for me because international nominations take me even over 60 days away from home. Then we have national competition, of course. Then I always try to referee also in my regional competition. So let's say 60, 70 matches every year. That's sure number for me. And they are in calendar, if you look at it, they are really all year round. So the gaps are not very big. This year for me is something very special. I had a chance to referee last week, first sparring in Jastrzębski Węgiel, one of the top clubs nearby. It was a strange feeling to get back on court, but next match I have tomorrow, and I will try to referee as many games as I can. And this is also very important for all younger colleagues who are watching us. to referee as many games as you can, because you gain automatism, you gain new situations that happen for you first time, and then second time and third, and you know how to deal with them. So it's really important to referee as many games as you can. Then, of course, as a president of refereeing commission, I'm involved in preparation of educational materials for Polish referees. I told you already about the cooperation with FIVB, especially Mr. Herpai. So yes, it's the volleyball or volleyball refereeing in different ways is present in my life every day.
It's a full-time job for you almost.
Well, we could discuss how this year influenced on how it hit us, those international referees at the FIVB level, for example, from financial point of view.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to tell you that I was very lucky in this situation, because if you go away for 60 days a year, then you cannot have a regular job, because nobody would employ you on a regular way. But for my luck, my company that I run had a very good spring, so it kind of balanced the difference in income. But I know that for some colleagues from FIVB level, this year will be very difficult also from this point of view.
For sure. Once you receive the nomination, do you have any special actions, special things that you do? Do you start to prepare yourself mentally during the travel to the nomination, by flight or by train or whenever you drive? Do you have any different mentality than regular for once you go to the nomination?
So of course, now we have to speak about a habit, right? Because we speak about thousands of games that I already referee.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to go into the brain and to the mind of the referees to show how the mentality works and everything, and not just coming to the court, whistling, thank you, and going away. There is some mechanism for it. So as top referees, we have some automatic, or like you say, a habit, for preparation. So that's why I want to go step by step.
Well, first of all, if I have a nomination for a team that I don't know, or I meet for after many years, then I try using internet. I try to find the list of players and who is the coach. Usually to find familiar names and to remind myself what experience I had with them or what they had with me. And then, as you know, because we refereed several games together, it's very good at international level that we have time before the game to even for a chit chat to just have a relaxing speech. But it builds the team, and as we know, refereeing is never a one-person job. It's always a teamwork. So I think I concentrate on this. But what I learned, for example, is that I never try to prepare myself. Oh, in this game I will be very harsh. I will use my cards immediately, or so on. It doesn't work like that. Usually it works backward, the other way around. So if you are ready to take your card in the game, it's very calm. And of course, when you don't expect any problem, then something happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Life.
So you say that you talk with the referees. Maybe you have a meeting the day before, or like a coffee or something like that. Do you have once you go into the court in uniform, you're already dressed up, and this is your first entrance in a uniform? How do you do your work? What is your mental state once you put your uniform on and you enter as the first or second referee? Are you nervous, calm, tension? How do you manage the protocol, before the match? Mentally, I'm talking about.
I think it differs whether I'm first referee or second referee. When I'm first, I think I try to show some leadership from my side. And well, basically answering your question, I really try to behave professionally during when I'm in the uniform. I mean, I try to be professional every time, but really to take care about the image and also the list of things to do and etc. So when I'm first referee, I always try to exchange a few words with each coach to build some understanding and maybe some trust immediately when we are there. And when I'm second referee, I try not to do it. And I have to tell you that I dislike those of us who sometimes who are second referees, but they are trying to dominate the first referee. It doesn't really help. So I really try to remember about this fact. And I never, as a second referee, I will always be one step behind the first one. Of course, when he's in his stand, I'm in my position, we have our own job to do. So then I'm there. But before the game, I always let the first referee to be the one who really leads all the preparation. And yeah, I think that's
it's okay.
Most important is to have this first contact with the teams.
Of course. In Israel, in Hebrew, we call, as the first referee, we call him the main referee. And the second referee, it's not, we call him assistant referee. So maybe it's not so correct by the names, but by the work, it's very much correct for the work itself, because second referee is to assist. He has its own regulation, he has its own things that he, responsibilities and everything, but he's also to help and assist the first referee. So like you said, the first referee is the manager, he stands there and everything, and the second referee is behind the stage, taking care of all the small details before the match and everything. I saw you do that, and it's my job, my way as well. This is how I think it should be done. When you go up the chair, or when you stand as the second referee, you start your focus, because if the first referee and the second referee must enter some kind of a focus stage during the match. You get focus, you get your concentration. How do you keep your concentration on a high level for such a long time?
And probably this is the most difficult task for us referees from physiological point of view. I attended once this lecture that was organized for us, and it was shown how the concentration goes up in each rally, sometimes several times, because you have to analyze each hit, right, and where the ball is landing, and etc. And then you have those very little gaps between rallies that you can use for relaxation, and then of course timeouts and intervals. And I think I tried to implement this graph that I saw. So immediately after each rally, if there is of course no need for me to be engaged in anything, I really try to look just for a second, look at stands, look at my second ref, just in a friendly way, maybe blink an eye. Yes, exactly. Just to gain this little moment to lower the tension inside me, so then I might be ready for next rally. Because, like you said, we need to keep the concentration during the game. Sometimes the game is very long, right? 2 hours, over 2 hours, and it's not about having strength for the first rally. It's about having the strength for the last rallies of the game.
Yeah, of course. How is your interaction with the participants, with the players and the coaches? Do you allow the coaches, when you are second referee, or the players as a first referee, you allow them to talk to you, to approach you sometimes if they have some comments or anything, or you are very strict and say, please stay in your place, and this is not when it's not a conversation, it's not a dialogue or something like that? Are you more strict or more liberal, would you call yourself?
I'm very liberal, and I'm sure everyone can tell after watching my games. And I'm very happy that this thing changes in volleyball. And we are now even asked by FIVB, by referee coaches, to show that we are able to communicate with teams, to use the body language and also the way, giving a chance to talk, even for a very short moment. But this allows to lower the tension, lower the number of protests or disagreements. And again, back to one of the meetings that you organized, Coach Kirali, maybe you remember, he told us that what he liked about referees is when if he disagrees with something, then he can see that the referee is listening. And even if he disagrees, if he tells, I will keep my decision because I took it the best way I could, this is how I saw it, and that's it. But it's very important for all participants to know that the referee is not like a policeman, but more like well, a friend who was brought there to the stand, and he has to take decisions. It's not an easy task, but he's still a friend of maybe not as a close friend, but a friend to our discipline, a friend to the game. And he's trying to make all the best decisions that he's able to. So yeah, I'm very liberal in this case, but of course I have also limits. So if I see that that for nearly no reason someone is trying to overuse this, then at one moment I will say, okay, this was your third visit at my stand. We had nice talk, but that's it. From now on, I will treat it as unsportsmanlike, and it usually works.
Yeah, we see from the meetings with the coaches that there is a need from the coaches to open a communication channel with the referees, because they want to have some kind of not a dialogue, but to have some communication with the referees, which is probably a change from past days where the referees were really untouchable, or it's not able to talk to them or to speak to them. It would be immediately a warning or some kind of a sanction. Giovanni Guidetti on Friday said that he would very much appreciate when a referee, if he knows that he did a mistake or he thinks that Giovanni said that he made a mistake, even if he knows that he didn't, he can come to him and or calm him down or talk to him or to say him, tell him that this is what I saw and this is my decision. I understand that you are, maybe it's a mistake, maybe not, but this is my decision. And Giovanni said he would accept it. He said, I cannot be angry on a person that comes to me and understands me and understands my anger. So it helps very much to relax and calm the atmosphere and everything. And it's working together. It's basically working together. It is well known that teams have a lot of respect and confidence in the referees. The match will be easier once the team has good confidence in him, because if they don't have no confidence, there will be a lot of discussion. How do you earn this trust and confidence from them? Maybe before, during the protocol, or during the match itself?
Well, one of examples are the procedures that we have during the game, especially challenge, regulation. I really try to tell coaches that we will try to be flexible and maybe we'll help them with the system or with the request. Now, and I'll tell you a story now. Anecdotes are welcome here, I hope. During Olympic qualification tournament in Berlin, it was Slovenia against France, I think. And there was some doubtful request from French team, which I allowed, but there was slight protest from Slovenian bench. And I went to assistant coach and told him, look, I will do exactly the same to you. And he told me, no, I don't want you. I want you to go through according to the regulation very strictly. Okay, I stepped back. We had this challenge side and so on. You won't believe, in the fifth set, it was this Slovenian assistant coach in a tough moment who made some mistake during his request.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I was flexible and we allowed this challenge. And after the game here, oh my, thank you, because I overreacted in the first set and you saved my, what did you say? You saved my position in the team in the fifth set. So yeah, it was fair and it was okay. So I think, you know, coaches, they have right to be nervous. They have right to be focused on leading the team. And sometimes those administrative procedures might cause some problems for them, especially when we use the ETTs now, the tablets. So I really am for this to be liberal. And I also very much like what I heard, I think also from Dr. Imre Holvey, who was the director in my IRCC, the course for international referee. And I also heard it from, for example, Mr. Herpai, to use common sense sometimes even over the rules. The rules, of course, they are the basis for a sport, but to lead the game, to offer good show for those who came to watch it, as long, of course, as the better team wins, it's good to use common sense sometimes, and even not to go letter by letter from the rules, just to provide better show. And that's the future for the sport, I'm sure.
For sure. When a team or a participant becomes angry at the referees, maybe not an aggressive behavior, but he's constant and he's talking and he's giving some bad remarks for the referees. How do you handle this kind of situation? Or maybe when he becomes aggressive, then how do you upscale it, your situation?
Well, at first I try to ask or to understand what the problem is, what's the disagreement for. And if I feel that he might be right, for example, it was mistake by my fellow referee, or something went wrong with the procedures, different things may happen. Mm-hmm. Or even I feel sometimes that I made a mistake, but it's too late to correct it, right? This may happen.
Yeah.
So then I would probably, and we are not speaking about some severe reaction from player, then I would probably ask not to talk to me this way, but I would not go to sanctions. But I always try in such situations to show the limit and inform the team. That's the limit, and to tell what I dislike, because sometimes it's trying to prolongate discussion with me, so delaying the game. Sometimes it's about gestures. I remember I asked a few times Paweł Zagumny, one of the best setters, a few years ago, the world champion of 2014, now the president of professional league in Poland, by the way. And of course, very strong character, very strong person. And he used to speak to us by waving his hand, and he approached to the stand, waving hands. And I remember I started to ask him, Paweł, please, leave your hands. Just talk to me, tell me what your problem is. And then after a few games with me, he really started to do this, at least with me. So it already looks better, right? Yeah. So the only problem, for example, in this case, was that for everybody outside, it seemed like a strong protest. But trust me, what he told was simply asking why this decision, we saw it different way. So in a pretty gentle way. But it was only about his gesture. So I tried to point what I would like the participant to change in his manner, so that I don't have to use cards.
Okay, that's very nice. That's a very nice example. Body language is everything, apparently. And whatever they see outside and they don't hear, it could be very different from.
Exactly.
Do you get sometimes angry at the bench? If the bench is doing some problems, or the like the players at the bench, or the the coach talking all the time to to your second referee, or as a second referee, you get all the time, you hear from the side, net, or block touch, does it influence you and you become angry at them?
Definitely not. To be honest, I don't recall any case that I would be angry at any participant. I remember maybe once there was Igor Prielożny, Danica, hello. So Igor, he had like a bad day, and it was time when he led 2 or 3 teams that were really close to my place. So I had a chance to speak to him so many times, and I was first referee, and I was more shocked about how he behaved towards everybody, not only against referees. Yeah. But then after the game, he told me, "Oh gosh, we lost, and it's my birthday today, and this is why I behave. I'm very sorry for that." So, but this was maybe one situation. No, it's not about emotions from referees, right? We have to stay professional. It's our duty to distinguish unsportsmanlike behavior from simply sport emotions, and try to avoid too many bad things happening on court, and allowing the game to go smoothly, etc. So there is no place, I think, for personal emotions.
Not even empathy. If you see that one team is doing mistake after mistake, or they're having any problems or something, can you feel empathy for the team or for the players?
The most killing question for me after the game is, who was the MVP? Because I don't know how you, but when I referee, for me, unless it's very spectacular play by some player, but it's very difficult for me to tell who was the best player on court. And I feel sometimes that some other guys don't understand this, but I really stay focused on refereeing, and I'm not so good in at the same time analyzing the quality of play.
Okay. When you have an exceptional situation, something that catches you off guard, maybe first time for you, even if it's in the rule book, but it almost never happens and it catches you. How do you make your decision once you see something new? Because I'm sure it's not automatic, like ball in, out, or block touch, something like that. How can you mentally try to tell us what goes in your mind when you see an exceptional situation?
Well, I slow down things for sure, and try to think slightly more about what to do. And I understand that we speak about some play situation, not about some administrative.
No, play situation, of course.
Yeah, and on few occasions, I chose to consult my second referee, for example, partly to give myself more time to observe the teams, because sometimes you see that one team is getting ready to serve and the other to receive. So why to go against the current, right? But definitely slow down things and try to collect, also by watching players, try to collect as many information as I can.
When you feel, if you feel that you had a mistake or a tough call, maybe something which is argumental, and you see one team is arguing or something like that, how does it impact you yourself? Do you think afterwards, or are you able to put it immediately on the side? One of the main problems that they're trying to teach the referees is not to think about mistakes that you did or points or anything like that.
And I think I learned to leave all those situations behind. There will be time to think about it. I told you about how I trust in self-evaluation, but there is no, really, like you said, there is no need, there is no use of thinking about the situation all the time during the game, because there are next rallies coming. And of course, there is all that is left is the feeling that I have to be maybe careful with the team that that starts to protest, because it may there might be more reactions from their side, but not. I really try, and I think I worked it out how to not to think about the bad decisions during next rallies.
Okay. Do you, talking about about the teams, do you support the option of sharing or talking to the teams once if you change your decision, or trying to keep it? Because if you change your decision, one team will be argumentative and the other one will say will be happy. So do you call them and talk to them, or you just say this is my decision and that's it and let's continue?
It's not very often to change decision, and if we would do it too often, then some teams would use it simply, right? And they would come to you asking after each rally, change decision now also, and again and again. So this is not the way we should run. And I think it's the first feeling inside you after you take decision. You know, there are those bad moments. One, when the team that scored that after your decision looks at you and doesn't understand why the point is for us. And the second, when you blow your whistle and you hear everybody's quiet in the hall because nobody knows why the whistle came. So let's try to avoid these. Yeah.
Okay. When the score becomes really close at the end of the match, you know you're on the fifth set, or you see that it's about to finish and the points are very close. How do you prepare yourself before whistling for service? You know, on the last points of the match. Do you have a better preparing from all other points, or is it all the same?
I think more important is, I would call it flow of the game. When you are in the game and there are 150 rallies behind you, and you already know if the teams trust you, you already know, and they know what level of ball handling you allow in this game. So no, I don't think there is some special need of preparation for last rallies. It's more an effect of all that happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say that you worked, you gained some authority, some trust for the last balls of the game, because you never know what happens in the last balls. There might be a really big problem, but it may happen even if you are concentrated or not, right? It depends on your psychology.
Okay. Once the match is finished, do you feel, first of all, do you feel any relief? Do you get calm before you can say that your mentality, your focus, everything goes down and you're satisfied with yourself, standing there shaking the hands of the people once you go down from your chair? Or you are still stayed in focus and still all the way in the match?
I try to stay focused till we leave the court, till we are back in the locker room, because you know there is always important moment when the teams come to shake hands, and if there were some tensions between them, then you also have to observe if there is nothing wrong happening by the net. Then when you approach coaches, it's also important this moment when they shake your hands or they refuse to shake hands, or whatever happens there. Maybe someone wants to talk to you after the game. This also may happen. So for me, it's still the continuation of what I did in the stand. After the game, of course, the relaxation must go down. I need some time to let all the emotions away. In longer tournaments, I like to go to the gym, for example. I think it helps also to keep to let all the adrenaline out of your body, out of your mind as well. And I don't I mean, I might be sometimes too critic for myself, and I say that I have not refereed my perfect game yet, and I'm still on the pursuit for such a game, for such a match. And so even after the game, when both teams say, "Oh, very good refereeing," and referee delegate is delighted and so on, then even then, I after a while I try to rethink the game, and then I can name things that still I have to work to get them better. So
Do you watch the recording of the game afterwards? So, you know, if you can find it on television or somewhere, do you like to watch it and to review what you did?
well, not the whole matches, some specific moments. For example, sometimes rallies, because I want to check where the ball actually was, while I decided whether it was on one side or on the other side. For example, things like that. But I don't do it very often. And I watch sometimes also the moments when I interact with players, especially, or with benches. If the TV camera caught me and I want to see what it looks like, because I know those examples of people who think they do everything right, but when someone from outside watches it, then can tell you look like you are angry at someone, which is bad, or you look too relaxed, like you have fun, even though you have just taken the wrong decision, and so on. So it's also important to me to verify whether I look the way I wanted to look, to behave.
Did you ever put yourself a camera of you, you know, just to focus on you when you were young, maybe, or somebody to take pictures of you? You know, like the referee coaches, Mr. Herpai Laszlo was probably one of the first to put his camera under the book and without anybody knowing, taking a video of the referees to get some different point of view. Because what you see, what you think that you do is not always what apparently everybody sees. So did you have a chance to film yourself?
I did it once or twice in first division. So it was like 15 years ago. Now it's easier for me because nearly all matches from Plus Liga are covered live on TV. Yeah. So it's pretty easy. Of course, the camera catches you exactly the moment when you don't want to be caught. That's again, yeah, things like that. But yeah, it's common to find the picture of myself when I watch replay, or I want to find some specific moment in the replay.
Is it important for you to talk to your co-referees in the dressing room after the match? Do you want to? Do you feel the need to talk and to review or to ask, even if it was an easy match and there were no specific things, you still want to talk and to hear the opinions?
Yes, very much. And we have 5 referees in Plus Liga coming from my region. So the whole season we referee in pairs from one region, with just few exceptions. And we learned that on the way back from the game, we always have part of the way to discuss the game. And we learned to speak really honest, in a very honest way about good and bad things that happened. And yeah, it's probably as good working as the self-evaluation. When you have a partner who is sincere with you, and also is listening to what you are saying. And you know this phenomenon that when you whistle with someone for a couple of years and it's like 10 or 15 games every year, then it's even a very small gesture from his side, very small move that helps you to take your decision. So yeah, this is what I do.
If you had a bad match, you know, you finished your match, you went home and you feel really bad because probably that was a very tough match. Could be that you made a mistake or not, or you whistled it correctly, but the teams were not happy. How does it affect you? How do you have bad feelings about this? Does it influence you maybe the day afterwards or your sleep? You know, do you arrive home or to your room and sit with yourself trying to recollect why and everything?
Yes, it's like self-tormenting a little. Yeah, I had the game. Remember that I thought about even several weeks after, and the first days were really tough. What I learned, of course, if it's one of the top games, then you have to switch off all the social media and do not watch any comments in internet,
Yeah.
because of course people are wolves against other people, so there's no use of reading this. But yes, sometimes it's very strong hit on a person, also disrupting sleep, of course, for a few days.
Yeah. You whistled many matches until the challenge system was implemented. How did this system change your way of decision making, your mentality? Do you feel bad when you realize that you didn't see a fault? You know, they showed a touch or something, and you think to yourself, "Oh, I should have seen that," or you just accept it as it was? Does it infect your mental state during the match?
I think Poland was the first country to implement challenge, and at first the idea came from referees, from us. I was one of those who had a chance to request for the solution, but it was how we justified it was that sometimes on TV, on replay, regular replay from TV, you could see that there was a big mistake, like half a meter ball in or out.
Yeah.
And our idea was so that the referees could use this replay in case there is the challenge or the video verification of initial decision. It went very different way. Now we analyze every small touch, and sometimes even the best cameras don't show the perfect picture.
Mm-hmm.
So we have very big experience in Poland, and by the way, I still think we have the best regulation for challenge, and so I hope one day we'll use it also for international competition. And
That they can challenge anything.
anything during, but you don't have to stop the rally. You can ask for challenge after rally, and it really doesn't take time to find the moment in the rally.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever watches Polish competition knows that it doesn't take so much time. Well, anyway, no, I don't care about lost challenges, and I really do not referee in a special way when there is challenge, because I think it's better to keep my automatism and the way I analyze rally in my mind than try to follow reactions of players, for example. And I can tell you that we have referees in Poland who, on such occasions, they take some part of the time, and sometimes they even start the movement of a hand. And if they see reaction from the team running to the buzzer to press it and demand challenge, then suddenly they change the hand. And probably they avoid in this way some challenges that they lose. But to me, it would be too complicated to change manners between different games. And I know that everyone accepts when we make mistakes, like, 1 centimeter ball in, ball out, or, well, in the game last Thursday that I mentioned, the sparring, there was a spike, the ball went out. We had no challenge, of course. And everybody was sure it was out. And the blocker stood with his hand up. And we made the signals, everybody were getting, and he's still standing with his hand up.
Yeah.
Hey, I touched. What? I touched. Nobody saw it, really. It was so slight. So I think there is no, again, no use to make some special tries to lower the number of lost challenges.
I'm going to tell you something that Giovanni Guidetti said in the meeting with him, that he feels a little bit, he says that he gets angry, but he feels a little bit that referees are afraid to whistle for, especially he was talking on block touches, and then to give the challenge a chance to the team to challenge it, a chance for the team to challenge the block touch. And he was upset because sometimes he says, you have to look on the players know, they can feel if there was a touch or not. And you need to look at them. And then if you say that it was block touch, then they mostly they would show that there was a block touch. He was talking about that. And his expression was that the challenge takes the momentum. It stops the momentum of the team and until everything is realized. What do you think? Do you think that referees, or do you feel, or you saw that referees are allowing a little bit more for the challenge and less taking decisions by themselves to give chance for the challenges?
Well, it's a matter of individuals, right? Every referee is different. To respond to Mr. Guidetti, whom I admire as a coach, a great person, of course, but still we gained a lot thanks to challenge, right? I think it was Italians who checked some matches in years before challenge, how many bad decisions were taken in crucial moments in final games, and it was very large number. So yeah, it pays a little, some cost of losing time for the verification, but we gained a lot. There is no ideal system, there is no ideal way to run the game. So I still think we have more benefits from challenge as it is than not.
I think to give my opinion, first of all, as the time will go by, more and more referees will be experienced in the challenge. There will be challenge referees, or as a second referee, you will be more experienced. So you will know with the operators how to find the challenge and to reach a decision faster than it was before, because the more you use it, then the faster you get. But I think I told Mr. Guidetti also that if you want a referee, I think that the referee, when you whistle, we whistle what we see correctly, not what we think that we saw or what we hear, or maybe probably should be whistled, what we see for sure. So if we didn't see it, if the challenge, we would whistle for block touch, and the challenge shows that there was no block touch, even maybe the block was far from the ball, everybody will say the referee is imagining. He's not good because he sees things that never happened, like touch the net, but there was no touch. So how do you think that you whistle for the net touch? And this would put the referee with a less trust from the teams. The teams will not trust the referee that whistles things that never happened. So probably it's better to whistle what you see. And if you didn't see the block touch, let them challenge. And eventually the challenge gives the match the best result eventually.
Definitely true. And about the speed of challenge, everybody here knows that Hawkeye system, the computer knows where the ball landed in a manner, the blink of an eye. In a blink of a part of a second.
Yeah.
So I think it's not long time that the referee probably will have maybe a lamp or maybe a signal in the earphone telling the ball touched the floor and it's in. So yeah, we can, again, you can gain some time not to waste it on challenges, for example. In this
good idea for technology. So by the way, which challenge system do you personally prefer?
So the quality with Hawkeye is very good. Also, I mean, also the video cameras, not only the computerized ball in, ball out, where sometimes mistakes still happen probably, but they can, for example, use the TV image which Polish system cannot, for example. So I think the quality of the challenge system is the best within Hawkeye.
Okay.
However, of course, the cost is different than in other systems.
Yeah.
In Poland, we use, I think, 22 cameras, and they are very efficient, and the operators are also very good. So, like I said, we can, the team may request challenge on anything that happened during the rally, even crossing the service line. And it doesn't take much time to get into this moment and watch it on video. And then, of course, the data volley system, the cheapest, but also not so efficient, I think, as Polish system. So
Okay.
it's different costs, but also different qualities.
Of course, of course. What tips, advice, or any information you want to give to the young referees that you meet? You know, you have line judges in international matches that you meet, young ones, they come to listen maybe in the dressing room or talk to you. What are the basic tips that you immediately give them?
I also run basic courses in my region, and I think there are the two most important things. One, whistle as many games as you can, and second, be honest with yourself, and after the game try to self-evaluate it. And really, there are two basic things for everyone, in my opinion, that that allow to develop the refereeing skills.
Once you retire, do you have any plans to continue with volleyball? Well, probably yes, because we are so much inside. But any specific plans on the volleyball?
Probably this will be the time to go back to coach some young team. I really remember this time as enormous fun, and I'll be happy to get back to this. Probably my children will be too old at the time to start to play, so I won't be coaching them. But volleyball, luckily, is very popular in Poland, and there are so many kids who want to play that I will find some players.
My last question, I just remembered something from earlier. As you became chairman of the refereeing commission, volleyball in Poland was also in a change. It became more and more popular, more stronger, and much more very strong, not just in Poland but also in the world. How did it affect you as the chairman of the refereeing commission? What were the changes or the topics that you were needed to change or to put more emphasis in order to keep up with this high level of volleyball in Poland?
Yeah, so first of all, we signed in for different sport than we have now, right? Volleyball 20 years ago was so much different in Poland. Nobody spoke about professional league, and we were not double world champion at the time, and so on. There was less money in the sport, and I noticed that it's very difficult for us referees to be there at this change, because requirements towards us are so different than they were when we started. And some colleagues adjust better, some not so good. You could see it. Now it's easier for new generations because they know already what to expect, that there will be TV, there will be big crowds in halls, and etc. The change, I mentioned that there was a demand for a change, and this was the reason why the voters, the referees in Poland, looked for a new chairman. So what we did was we stopped evaluating referees by numbers. It was the very first thing that we did, and we implemented back in 2016 referee coaches. Okay. So to be honest, I'm very happy to see that this not only by name, but also by idea. This is also what is happening in FIVB. What we did was we divided all the referees in first and second division into smaller groups, up to 15 referees, and we nominated to each group 2 or 3 referee coaches. So they work with them through regular season, and at the end of regular season, their duty was to give us, the commission, names, 2 names for referees who they think should be evaluated so that maybe they are advanced to higher categorization, but also 2 names that we should maybe watch in order to lower the categorization. Plus, they are preparing like a description, a report, individual report on a referee, and deliver it to each referee in their group. And then there is the second stage of evaluation where members of commission are involved, and it's finished during the finals of Polish championships, youth categories. So we have 6 up to 8 referees in the same conditions, in the same tournament. So it's easier to compare their skills, their attitude, and so on, and to take as wise decision as we can, who will be promoted and who will be not. And I have to tell you that, and very important thing, the idea is that that the same referee coach works with the same group for 2 or 3 years. Then we try to change names, but we want to see some longer term cooperation, so that those coaches can tell us that someone is developing, that they see him in the future. Because I think this is the question, for example, for second division referee, if referee coaches see him or her somewhere in the future in professional league, right? We need to look for those diamonds, the most talented people. So in my opinion, the system works, and also the service that we do among referees show that the system is accepted by Polish referees. So that was the most important, crucial change that we made.
This and you were lucky also to receive the help from your federation, and with the evolution of volleyball in Poland, you grew also with all these together. I guess that some federations, some small federations now, inspiring federations, will look to Poland to see how it should be done to bring volleyball. You know, when you go to a Polish match, even not in Poland itself, you can see the mass of crowd of people that are coming to watch the match, just because in Poland volleyball is so popular and so accepted by everybody, and the federation and the commissions, the referees and everything grew together with it. It's very impressive.
And I have to tell you that that this growth of volleyball in Poland, of course, also leaves the mark on refereeing, because now we have a big generation of referees who are around 45, up to 50, with 10 years of experience in Plus Liga. And it's really a group of, I don't know, nearly 20 people. So they are really good referees now in Poland. It's a unique time for us. Now we have to start thinking about the future, because after 5-6 years, in just few years, most of those will retire. So we have to start thinking how to let chance to younger referees, how to give them chance to be in the professional league for at least 3 years, I think, so that they are recognized by coaches, by players, and accepted by them. Because as we spoke earlier, acceptance follows also the time that you are in the categorization by number of matches that you referee to someone.
Sure. Okay. before we finish and I open the stage for any questions, if anybody's still awake, do you have anything, last words, anything to add to tell us all?
First of all, maybe questions from watchers.
Okay, so let's open for questions. Anybody has any comments or questions to ask? Just unmute yourself and please.
Wojciech, this is Tom Blue again. First of all, I remember very well our first encounter. It was my first visit to Poland. You were a wonderful host. We had a very, very good time in Opole and Wrocław. I appreciate very much the progression of referee coaching. When I was involved at an active level, it was less so. It was more, here's the way it is, this is what you do, and we're going to watch you, and if you don't do it, you're not going to do well. And now it is more of a mentor or coach approach to the referees, and I think that you're an excellent example of how young referees have developed over the past few years. Congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you very much for those kind words. Thank you. There was a question on the chat about daily routine.
Okay.
I have to tell you that before my best so far game, I followed the routine. I had a very good meal. I rested, had a little nap, listened to my favorite music, and the match went so well. But I have to tell you that before my worst game, I had the daily routine. I had a very good meal. I had a sleep, and I listened to my best music, and it didn't go well. So I don't really believe in those routine things. Of course, you still have to do everything that you can to be well prepared for the game. And sometimes in Poland, we had this discussion about punishing a referee. And I think we managed to persuade everyone, the federation, everyone around us, that you should not punish referee for a refereeing mistake during the game. What a referee should be punished maybe is being late for the game, getting there not prepared, either wrong uniform or not concentrated because disturbed by something else. Of course, any unfair or illegal actions taken before the games and so on. And of course, if you don't know the rules, if you don't know the administration of the game, these are factors that might be an item of some punishment against referee, but not a mistake in the game or even series of mistakes. This is what we came to in Poland.
I would like to ask you for that. You said about the routine. Do you have any superstitions that you do? Meaning you use the same socks for every match, or do you have some kind of, like a charm or luck thing that you put in your pocket?
I used to think that I had a lucky whistle, and then after some poorly refereed match, I threw away the whistle, and then I had another lucky one. And after again not so good game, it went also to the bin. So no, I don't think I have any of these.
Okay. Any other questions, please? There's some question. What is your favorite match? Which tournament is your favorite that you can recall back?
Till now, and I hope it's not the end of the story, I think the World Championship held in Italy, Bulgaria and Italy, 2018. I was surprised to be invited to stay till the end of the tournament. And I remember when we moved from elimination group to Milan, I think, and we had the 16 group, and there was tough match, Russia against Italy, and everybody made jokes. So only not me, only not me. First referee, Wojciech Maroszek. But the game went very well. And by the way, I was very happy with this match because I had very good flow of the game, had very good contact with teams. I was really happy about it. So then I went to Torino for the last phase, and there was a very important game. And again, Mr. Maroszek and so on. And then the semi-final, Brazil against Serbia. Everybody thought this would be a real war, and I was surprised that I received this game. Like I said, I'm still a newcomer to this group, but with my perfect second referee, Fabrizio Pasquali, if he's here, I say hello again. We managed the game, I think, again, very well, and the match was 3-0. While in the second semi-final, everybody expected short game. It was Poland against USA. And as you remember, it was a real battle, finished with the win of Poland. So this tournament, and especially I think the semi-final, it was so far my time of a glory, let's say, the best thing that happened to me so far.
Okay. There's a question. Okay. No, just another thing. So if there are no any other questions, I would like to say thank you to Wojciech for being with us. Last words, Wojciech, before. Here, there's another question. Considering the number of matches you refereed this in a year, do you still have another job?
I would say, part-time job with Polish Federation as the president of Refereeing Commission, but mostly I run my own consulting agency. It's a one-person company, but as you can imagine, being a consultant means that you can work from either your home or from tournament outside, so it makes things slightly easier.
And what about this idea of the FIVB having professional referees that will be full-time job referees by the FIVB? How would it affect you if you would be invited?
You know, I would never expect to have a chance to have this adventure of visiting so many countries, places, to know so many friends in volleyball, to be present in games watched all around the world. I think for each of us, or nearly each of us, if such a proposal comes, we will say yes, because you know it's a unique thing, really. When I'm old and I will be in my rocking chair, and my grandsons will come and ask, "Hey, what are you smiling at?" I will tell them all the stories from refereeing, which will be more interesting than sitting at the desk and doing every day the same thing.
Eventually, probably, and you have probably a room with all the tags and the pins all around and the souvenirs and gifts that you received. It's going to be like a memorabilia room.
You asked about what I will do during the retirement. This will happen only then.
The museum of Wojciech Maroszek.
Yeah.
Wojciech, thank you very much for being with us. It was a real big pleasure. 1 hour and a half of talking, and probably we had much more to talk about. Really informative, and for sure you are there. You are one of the top. It's not by chance that I received your name and I was asked to interview you. It's not by chance that you received those nominations, and you can act not like a Polish mother or grandmother that is all the time, "I'm not worthy, I'm not this." You are there, and it's okay. And all you said to us was very informative and very interesting for all the young referees or the inspiring referees. Thank you. Last words?
Too kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody. So I will upload everything to the YouTube, and